Life after death. We do not die but pass into another world, into a new life.
Death visions. A new idea is first ridiculed, then forgotten as a matter of course, until finally it becomes something everyone knows. William James. Death visions were rarely mentioned in the scientific literature until the late 1920s, when William Barrett, professor of physics at the Royal College of Science, Dublin, began studying them. Barrett became seriously interested in the subject after his wife, an obstetrician-surgeon, once told him about a woman who died that day in the hospital from blood loss after childbirth. Just before her death, this woman, Doris, suddenly sat up in bed, unusually excited at seeing some magnificent landscape. And then suddenly announced that her father had come for her to accompany her to the other side. Barrett was extremely shocked by the fact that the woman was suddenly surprised to see her sister, Vida, who died only 3 weeks ago, along with her father. Since Doris was very ill, the death of her beloved sister was hidden from her. This story inspired Barrett so much that he began a systematic study of dying visions. This was the first scientific experiment that established that the mind of a dying patient often remains clear and rational. Barrett also reported numerous instances in which William Barrett's medical staff or relatives present had visions of a dying person. Barrett writes that, many times at the time of their death, people observed the ghost of a friend or relative at the bedside, believing that this is a living person. In all cases, it was established that the person, or rather, his ghost, whom these people observed, had already died, but they did not know this. Dying children were often surprised that the angels they saw waiting for them did not have wings. In the 1960s, Drive. Carles Osis of the American OPI conducted an experimental study of the visions of the dying, which fully confirmed Barrett's data and was subsequently tested in various national cultures. Osis found that the most common type of visions are the ghosts of people who have already died. Dying visions usually lasted no more than 5 minutes. Dying patients unequivocally stated that the ghosts had come to take them with them. Belief in the other world does not in any way affect the frequency of appearance or appearance of the seen ghost. Most of the observed patients did not receive drugs that can cause hallucinations. According to the information he received from the medical staff, only 10% of people were conscious shortly before death, in this group of those observed. From 1/2 to 2/3 had similar near-death visions. These visions took the form of ghosts of loved ones. Fleeting visions of the other world and caused a medically inexplicable state of euphoria. Dr. Melvin Morse hypothesizes that dying visions are a forgotten aspect of the mysterious process of life, and that they can have a powerful calming and healing effect on both the dying person and their loved ones. He lists several instances in which dying children had visions of the other world during the last few days of their lives. Children described amazing colors, beautiful places, and their long-dead relatives whom they could not have known in life. Dr. Osis suggested that these sensations were simply hallucinations caused by the biochemical effects of the dying brain. However, after careful research, the scientist realized that these sensations were so unusual and convincing that they could not be explained either by the patient's physical condition or the consequences of the treatment. The OPI report cites cases where a ghost was seen by one or more people at the bedside of a dying person. In one detailed case, a ghost was seen by a dying woman, Harriet Pearson, and 3 relatives caring for her. In another case, at the bedside of a dying little boy, 2 witnesses independently observed his recently deceased mother. End-of-death visions confirm other evidence for the existence of life after death. Of those who die conscious, 50 to 60% see visions of the other world. Family members who are aware of dying visions have been known to spend more time at the bedside of a dying person. This factor reduces the guilt they may feel after his death. Spiritual visions support dying patients by making them realize they have something to share with others. Spiritual visions reduce the patient's fear of death and bring significant relief to his relatives. If visions are given due attention, this can drastically reduce unnecessary medical procedures, often very painful for the patient. Carla Wills Brandon, M.A., Ph.D., psychologist, lawyer, and author of 6 published books, became seriously interested in dying visions when it happened to her 3-year-old son. The boy was visited by a ghost who informed him that he was there to take him and his grandfather with him. The child was sure that it was actually his dad. Science is unable to explain these phenomena. End-of-death visions have existed since time immemorial. These events point to the existence of life after death. Our destiny is to study them. To be continued.
See also other interesting videos about life after death on our channel.